Hey, what's going on, Loan Atlas community? I am here with faculty member and my good buddy, Marc Bui. Marc, good to see you today, my friend.
Good to see you as well, buddy.
We were just talking about Marc's pre-approval pipeline, and we ran some quick numbers and came to the realization that he has $444,000 of gross commission income right now sitting in his pre-approval pipeline. And the purpose of this conversation is, what is Marc doing in his business right now, February 3rd, 2025, to make sure he doesn't lose a single dollar of that $440,000 in pre-approval pipeline that he's already done the work for? So we're going to dive into tactically what his mindset is around those leads and what he is doing to make sure that he earns that business when they actually go under contract. So Marc, walk me through where did this pipeline come from? And what are the systems, processes, and routines that you're implementing to make sure that you capture as much of that business as possible?
Yeah, 80% of the pipeline have come from real estate agent referrals,
Right.
and then another 15% from social media, 5% from word of mouth, past clients, SOI, etc. And we have done a shitload of work getting connected with these leads, catering real estate agents, working on their pre-approvals. And to be quite frank, I mean, our team, we weren't doing a very good job following up on our pre-approvals over the last couple of years. And 6 months ago, we just made it a point to really dive in and babysit and micromanage this pre-approval list because it's future income, right? So we have a system, it's Lender Logics, that we track all of our pre-approvals. That's where our pre-approval letters get fired out from. Okay. So going in there on a weekly basis every single Wednesday, my Wednesday pre-approval, and I carve out about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on the number of people that I have to reach out to. But I'm reaching out to them via email, text, specifically voice text, especially if they're an iPhone user, it's easy. And phone calls too, right? If they respond via text, I'll jump on the phone with them. If they don't respond at all, I'm calling them. And it's just a touch point, man. It's like, hey, how's it going? How's the house hunting process coming along so far? Are you finding the process enjoyable, frustrating? Most people say frustrating. Are you interested in an update on what the current market rates are looking at, what your potential monthly payments are looking at? And we get feedback from clients like, hey, there are not a lot of properties that fit what we're looking for. So we're still looking. We've taken our foot off the gas pedal because of rising interest rates. Cool. Did you know that the 10-year yield just dropped and rates have improved? You want to see updated numbers. So that has helped us create a lot of re-engagement with our pre-approval pipeline. And we have the majority of the clients now that go into contract immediately, like, they're reaching out. It's not like, hey, it's been 3 months, can you run some numbers? We just got under contract. No, like, we know exactly what's going on. So
it's great. So I want to underline a few things that I took away from that. The first thing is, Marc has monetized the value of this pipeline. So he knows what his average transaction gross commission income is. He knows how many people he has in his pre-approval pipeline, and he's put a dollar amount around that opportunity, right? When you know there's $444,000 in gross commission income out there, it is important enough to deserve time in your Wednesday schedule every single week to take care of that garden, to take care of those seeds that you've planted, knowing that at some point they're going to bear fruit. And it's interesting, Marc, my wife and I just bought a condo here in Park City, a nightly rental property. And we've been kicking around this idea for 18 months, talked to a realtor, then kind of forgot about the idea, then got back engaged and then re-engaged. And if we had not had constant communication, if we hadn't had that hand holding throughout that process, we may have ended up, going a different route. So I think the point of people get hot and cold in this market, especially if you have lower interest, if you have lower inventory and you have rising interest rates, people's decision-making process is longer. And if you don't stay in lockstep with them, you're going to lose them, and you're going to lose a good percentage of that. Talk to me a little bit about the voice memos, bro, because I find that one of the most effective ways of communicating with people. And I don't think I mean, it's free. It's super fast and effective. I think it creates greater connection than a voice or email, a text, or an email. So what are you saying in those voice memos, and what's been your experience in trading those with customers?
It's for my pre-approval list, the voice memo is pretty simple. Hey, it's Mark. Hope you're doing well. Just wanted to reach out to you to see how the house hunting process is coming along. Are you interested in knowing where rates are at? Do you need an update on some monthly payment quotes? Do you have any mortgage related questions? I'm here for you, and reach out. Feel free to reach out. So it's fairly simple. I love voice text. It's one of my best tools, communication wise. We update our database, our active pipeline database with voice text, right? Because a lot of times a quick loan update doesn't need to take a 15-minute phone call, right?
Right.
Voice text, and if if they have any questions to respond. And I think that it's well received with our clients too, because we're being very respectful of their time.
Love it. If anybody doesn't know how to do that, just go to Google and put in, how do I send a voice text on an iPhone? It's very simple. And you don't have to worry about punctuation and tone. They get the tone inflection. They feel there's a deeper level of connection when Mark drops me a voice memo and I get to hear his tone inflection than if I just get a text message. And I don't know about you, Mark, I've never received a single solicitation that has been a voice memo text. Have you ever been no? So
No.
it's kind of a pattern interrupt, isn't it?
Exactly, right. And tonality or the tone that you mentioned is very important. Being able to deliver a voice text with emotions behind it, as opposed to receiving a text, which is kind of boring now. And it's faster too. Like it's way faster for me to drop a paragraph versus trying to sit there and thumb it out. So
Totally. Love it.
So many benefits.
So many benefits. Are you, when you are reaching back out to them, you talked about rates changing, you talked about affordability. Are you talking at all about, or is it a part of your business, the temporary rate buy downs? And if so, how are you using those?
Yeah, so the temporary rate buy down discussion is typically happens during the PPC or the pre-purchase consultation, which if they're in my pre-approval pipeline, we've completed a PPC with them. So they understand that, right? I remind them that it's an option. For example, I had a guy last week that said, hey, my wife and I found a property that we really like, but it's just outside of our monthly payment budget. We know we can qualify for it because we got pre-approved for the amount. I'm like, hey, let's revisit that the 2-1 buy down. Let's take a look at that again. So I gave them the options via email. Not email, but I sent a video of a TCA to show them the numbers, and they ended up writing an offer.
Great.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't have followed up, if you wouldn't have reminded them of that, because people forget about that stuff. 6 months from now, people forget, they're just seeing, rates are at 7%, but they forget that the first year their rate could be 5% with a 2-1 buy down.
Exactly right. Yeah. And they will forget about you. There's a lot going on. I'm in the market for a new car too. And, some weeks I'm really into it and then some weeks I'm not. So you got to really follow up with people. And to your point, Josh, like handhold them, walk them through the process, because if they connect with the listing agent and the listing agent has a preferred lender, man, you're
yesterday's news.
Exactly.
Yeah. Love it. What's your frequency to touch these pre-approvals? So if I'm in your list of pre-approved people, how frequently am I going to hear from you? Am I hearing from you every Wednesday, every other Wednesday?
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, I'm going to hear something from you.
Yeah.
Here's what's going on in the market. Rates just came down a little bit. We're seeing inventories improve a little bit, something relevant about the market, and how the underlying message is, how can I serve you and your family into your new home, right?
Exactly right. Yeah. We're here for you guys. Reach out if you have any questions, but here's an update in the market. Here's an update with where rates are at. Here's a new product that just rolled out, right? Just something, and it's short.
Tim talks a lot about, creating Tim Brahim, of course, for anybody who's not familiar with Tim. He talks a lot about creating connection and deepening the relationship to the point that if someone did choose to use somebody else, they'd feel like they're cheating on someone that was important to them because you've invested that amount. And so the question I would have for anybody watching this is, are you investing enough into your pre-approved pipeline that they feel that you're a partner? That if they chose to use someone else, they would feel like they were cheating on you. And if not, it's okay. It just means that that's an indicator that there's work to be done there. And perhaps you're not protecting that $444,000 nest egg the way that you should or could be. Closing question here, Mark, and I love where this is going, especially coming into the spring buying season, right? Because if Dan Habib and Barry Habib are right, and we see a reduction in interest rates while we go into this spring and summer buying season, all of the touch points that we do in February, March, and April are going to pay massive dividends ahead. So I love this topic. Are you bringing your agents back in any way? You said 80% of these leads are from agents. Are you bringing them back into the mix? Because I know, historically, agents are horrible with follow-up. Like if you're not ready to write an offer, they're too busy to touch base with you. So how are you incorporating them, if you are, into this process?
I love that question. Voice text.
Of course.
Yep. I drop a lot of voice text to agents on a weekly basis. Hey, Josh, I just talked to France Costello. He's been dormant for the last several months. Him and his wife just found a property that they really love. I've been sending over numbers to them. Be expecting a phone call from them because I spoke really highly of you.
Great.
Yeah.
I love it.
I want to share this quick story about like just following up with your pre-approved client database. So France Costello he's a real client, right? A client that we reach out to, got pre-approved. He's a first-time buyer purchasing like a $2 million property. The guy makes a ton of money. And for 3 months, consistently following up, he goes under contract. He says, it's our first house. We're scared shitless. Send me your best numbers. I'm like, all right, here you go. He goes, cool, let's go. 2 hours later, he calls me up. He goes, hey, my agent, which I don't have a relationship with, connected me with another lender. This lender's quoting me 0.5% lower and closing in 2 weeks, which is something that's really important to us because we wrote a really short escrow. Okay. So I'm like, dude, I can't even compete with that. And I don't even fault you if you guys decided to go that route. 5 weeks go by, calls me back up. He goes, dude, this other lender is a jackass, blah, 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 blah. He's not answering our questions, dropping the ball, backpedaling on certain promises. We want to continue moving forward with you, even at a higher rate. So I don't think I would have gotten that type of response from France and his wife had I not put in the follow-up work.
Absolutely.
So
great story, great reminder. And I'll just add one more thing. It used to drive me absolutely nuts when that would happen, right? Somebody would go under contract, then they'd shop the deal, and now you're in a dogfight and you've got 2 weeks to close. But one of the things that I would do that I ended up getting more deals than you would possibly imagine is I would always set a reminder. Like if I lost that deal on rate or something else, I'd always set a reminder 7 days later in my CRM system just to give them a call back and just say, Mark, I was thinking about you and your family. I wanted to make sure that everything was going seamlessly with the other lender that you decided to work with. I still wish we would have had an opportunity to work together and hope that we can have an opportunity in the future. If there's anything I can do for you and your family, even if I'm not the one doing your loan, please reach out to me. I'm a friend and a resource in the mortgage industry. And you would not even believe how many deals I got back from that. I got refinance deals from that. I got people who immediately called me back and said, this is a shit show. I can't believe the decision I made, but I didn't want to come back to you because I thought you were mad at me and we'd severed our relationship. So if you take one thing away from that, like invest in the pre-approval pipeline as they're going through the house hunting process. Continue to invest in them. You got to nurture the seeds that you plant, right? Sometimes it takes 6 months or a year for them to bear fruit. And if you lose somebody, set yourself a task, follow back up with them and tell them that you're still their friend and resource in the mortgage lending business. So, Marc, this was super informative. I appreciate you taking time to share so generously. Any closing thoughts or words of wisdom?
Be very diligent about your leads, your pre-approved clients, your referral partners, because every deal counts, especially right now. So don't lose alone.
All right, you heard it here first, team. Take care of that pre-approved pipeline. Be diligent and invest in them so that you actually create a relationship as they're going through their house hunting process. Marc, thanks so much, buddy. It's great hanging out with you.
Same here. Appreciate you.